I lost my daughter for 7 years over words I never said. She looked me dead in my eyes on her 23rd birthday and told me she never wanted to see me again. Walked right out of my house, left her cake on the table, half the candles still burning. I stood there in my kitchen, the same kitchen where I'd fed her every meal for 23 years, and watched my only child disappear. What she didn't know, what nobody told her until it was almost too late, was that everything she believed about me was a lie. Every single word. And the person who fed her those lies, someone I trusted, someone I let into our lives, someone who smiled in my face while poisoning my child against me. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back. Let me tell you how a mother loses her daughter without ever doing a damn thing wrong. And let me tell you what happened when the truth finally came out. Because trust me, when it did, it broke her in ways I never wanted to see. Before we get into this, let me just say, if you've ever felt betrayed by family, if you've ever been misunderstood by the people you love most, this story is going to hit different. Make sure you're subscribed, because what I'm about to tell you, you're going to want to hear every single word. My name is Carol Jean Montgomery. I'm 68 years old now, but when this story really starts, I was 61 and my daughter Jasmine was 23. We were close. Not just mother-daughter close. I mean, close. The kind where she'd call me 3 times a day just to tell me about some man at her job who microwaved fish in the break room. The kind where we'd watch our shows together every Sunday, her feet in my lap, both of us yelling at the TV. Her father, Daryl, left when she was 4, moved to Atlanta with some woman from his job, and started a whole new family, like we were just practice. So it was me and Jasmine. That's how it always was. Me and my baby girl against the world. I worked 2 jobs to keep her in good schools, did hair in my kitchen on Saturdays, worked the front desk at Dr. Morrison's dental office during the week. I was tired all the time, but I never let her see it. She was going to college. She was going to have more than I did. And she did. Got her degree in marketing, got herself a good job at an advertising firm downtown. I was so proud I could barely stand it. Used to show her picture to anybody who'd look. That's my Jasmine. I'd say, my baby girl. Then Daryl's new wife came into the picture. Really came into the picture. I mean, her name was Diane Richardson Montgomery, because she hyphenated like that made her somebody special. She was 10 years younger than Daryl, light-skinned with that long pressed hair, always dressed like she was going to brunch, even at a backyard barbecue. Daryl had been around, saw Jasmine on holidays, sent checks that were never quite enough, but enough to make him feel like a father. But when he married Diane 5 years before everything fell apart, suddenly he wanted to be Father of the Year. Diane wanted it too, wanted to play stepmom, wanted Jasmine to call her for advice, wanted to be included in every little thing. And Jasmine, sweet girl that she was, tried to make room for them, tried to have a relationship with her father's new family. I encouraged it. Let me say that right now. I encouraged it. Baby, that's your daddy. I told her, you only get one. If he's trying, let him try. I meant it too. I wasn't bitter. I'd moved on with my life. I'd dated here and there, nothing serious. But I was content. I had my daughter, my friends, my church, my work. I didn't need Daryl to be miserable for me to be happy. But Diane saw it different. From the jump, something about me bothered her. I could feel it in the way she looked at me at Jasmine's college graduation, in the way she'd interrupt me when I was talking to Jasmine on the phone, in the way she'd suggest things, little things, about what Jasmine should do with her life. Your mother means well, but that's how she'd start, always with your mother means well. I didn't pay it much mind at first. I figured it was just stepmother stuff, her trying to find her place. I had my daughter's love. What did I care if Diane wanted to play house? That was my mistake. My big, stupid mistake. I should have seen it coming. Should have seen the way Diane watched me. The way she tensed up whenever Jasmine talked about me with affection. The way she'd get this tight little smile when Jasmine said she was coming to see me. But I didn't see it. Not until it was too late. Not until the day Jasmine came to my house for her birthday dinner, and everything I built with my child came crashing down. August 14th. That was Jasmine's birthday, 23 years old, and I'd planned her favorite meal, fried catfish, mac and cheese, greens, cornbread, and a red velvet cake I'd stayed up until midnight making. She was supposed to come at 6. She showed up at 5, and I knew something was wrong the second I saw her face. My baby looked at me like I was a stranger, like I was somebody she'd just met and already decided she didn't like. "Hey, baby," I said, wiping my hands on my apron. "You're early. Food's almost ready. We need to talk." That's all she said. Just those 4 words, flat and cold. I felt something drop in my stomach. You know that feeling? When you know something bad is coming, but you don't know what. "Okay," I said slowly. "Let me just turn off the stove." "Now, Mama." She never called me Mama when she was upset. It was always Mom or Mother when something was wrong. But this was Mama, and somehow that made it worse. We sat down at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd helped her with homework, where we'd had breakfast every morning before school, where we'd laughed over coffee just last week. She folded her hands on the table, and I noticed she was shaking. "Jasmine, baby, what's going on?" "Diane told me something." Her voice cracked. "She told me something about you, about why Daddy really left." My heart stopped, just stopped beating for a second. "What did she tell you?" She said. Jasmine took a breath, and I saw tears in her eyes. "She said you cheated on Daddy. That's why he left. She said you had a whole relationship with another man, and when Daddy found out, you made him look like the bad guy. Made everybody think he abandoned us when really you destroyed the marriage." I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, just stared at my daughter. "That's not." She said you've been lying to me my whole life about what happened. She said Daddy wanted to tell me the truth for years, but you threatened him. Said you'd turn me against him if he did. "Jasmine, that's not true. None of that is true." She showed me pictures. "Mama." Her voice broke completely now. "Pictures of you with some man. From back then." She said Daddy kept them all these years because he couldn't stand to throw away evidence of what you did to him. I felt like the floor was disappearing under me. "What pictures?" "Baby, I don't know what she showed you, but don't lie to me." She slammed her hand on the table, and I jumped. My daughter had never raised her voice to me. Not once. "I'm so tired of the lies. I'm tired of thinking my father was this terrible person when you were the one who destroyed everything. Jasmine, please listen to me." "No." She stood up, and she was crying now, really crying. "I'm done listening. I've listened to you my whole life, and it was all bullshit. All of it. Baby, don't call me that." She backed away from me like I might touch her, like my touch might burn. "I don't want to hear your voice. I don't want to hear your excuses. I'm done." She walked to the door. I followed her, my whole body shaking. "Jasmine, please. Please just let me explain." "There's nothing to explain, Mother." She turned around, and the look on her face, God, I'll never forget it. Pure disgust. Like I was something dirty. "You're a liar. You're a liar and a cheater, and I don't want you in my life anymore." "You don't mean that." "I do." She wiped her face. "I'm going to spend my birthday with my father, with my real family, the people who actually give a damn about me and don't lie to me every single day." "Jasmine." She walked out, just walked out and got in her car and drove away. I stood on my porch and watched her taillights disappear down the street. The street lights were coming on. My neighbors were out watering their lawns, taking their evening walks, living their normal lives. And mine had just ended. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Carol, why didn't you just tell her the truth? Why didn't you fight harder? And trust me, I tried. But sometimes when somebody's made up their mind about you, when somebody's planted that seed of doubt so deep, there's nothing you can say, nothing at all. Hit that like button if you've ever tried to defend yourself against a lie and nobody would listen. I called her. God, I called her so many times that first week. Every call went to voicemail. Every text went unanswered. I called Daryl. He actually picked up. Daryl, what the hell is going on? What did Diane tell Jasmine? Carol. His voice was tired. Maybe it's time she knew the truth about what kind of woman her mother really is. My hand tightened around the phone. What truth, Daryl? We both know the truth. You left because you got that woman pregnant. You left because you wanted a different life. Don't you dare rewrite history now. I'm not doing this with you. He sighed. Jasmine is an adult. She can decide who she wants in her life. If she doesn't want to see you right now, maybe you should respect that. He hung up on me. I tried to call Jasmine's friends. Her best friend, Keisha, told me gently that Jasmine had asked everyone not to talk to me, that she needed space. She said you'd try to manipulate people. Keisha said quietly, I'm sorry, Ms. Carroll. I don't know what happened between y'all, but Jazz is really hurt right now. Manipulate. My own daughter thought I was manipulating people. I stopped calling after that. What was the point? The silence was the worst part, not the anger. I could have handled anger. Screaming, accusations, even hatred, I could have worked with that. But the silence was like death. My phone stayed quiet. No more 3 calls a day. No more random texts about nothing. No more mama, you up at 10 p.m. when she wanted to talk about her day. Just silence. I'd cook dinner every night and set 2 places out of habit. Then remember, pack up the extra plate and put it in the refrigerator. Eat alone at my kitchen table. I'd see something funny on TV and reach for my phone to text her. Then remember, I'd be at the store and see something she'd like. Then remember, every single day was like remembering she was gone all over again. My friends from church tried to help. Sister Patricia would call to check on me. Mother Jenkins brought by food, sat with me, held my hand while I cried. She'll come around, they'd say. Just give her time. She'll see the truth. But weeks turned into months, and she didn't come around. I saw her once, about 3 months after that birthday. I was at the grocery store, turning down the cereal aisle, and there she was. My heart jumped. Jasmine. She saw me and froze. For just a second, I saw something in her face. Pain, maybe, uncertainty. But then it hardened. She turned her cart around and walked away. Didn't say a word. Just walked away like I was nobody. I stood there in that aisle holding a box of Raisin Bran and cried right there in Kroger. Didn't even care who saw me. That's when I knew. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't just anger that would fade. My daughter was really gone. You know what nobody tells you about losing a child who's still alive? It's worse than death. When somebody dies, people understand. They bring food, they call, they sit with you. They know you're grieving, but when your child cuts you off, people don't know what to do with that. They look at you sideways, wondering what you must have done. Because children don't just cut off good mothers, right? There must be a reason. I started seeing it in people's faces at church. The questions they didn't ask. The way conversations would stop when I walked up. The pity mixed with judgment. Sister Patricia finally asked me one Sunday after service, Carol, honey, what happened? With you and Jasmine. I told her everything Diane had said, everything Jasmine believed. And it's not true, she asked gently. None of it. The fact that she had to ask broke something in me. No, Patricia, it's not true. I never cheated on Daryl. There was no other man. He left because he got someone else pregnant. That's the truth. She patted my hand. I believe you, honey. But I could see the question in her eyes. The tiny seed of doubt. That's what lies do. Even when people believe you, there's always that little voice in the back of their minds. But what if I stopped going to church as much? Stopped answering calls from friends. Stopped leaving my house except for work. I'd come home, heat up some leftovers, watch TV without really watching it, and go to bed. Wake up and do it all again. My hair started turning grayer. I stopped dyeing it. What was the point? I lost weight. Food didn't taste like anything anymore. Dr. Morrison, my boss, finally pulled me aside one day. Carol, are you okay? You seem different. I'm fine. I lied. Is it Jasmine? I haven't seen her come by in a while. I felt tears burning behind my eyes. She's busy. You know how it is with young people. He looked at me for a long moment, this kind man I'd worked for 15 years, and I knew he knew I was lying. If you ever need to talk, he said gently, thank you. But I didn't talk. What was there to say? The holidays were the worst. Thanksgiving, I set a place for her out of habit, then had to clear it away, ate a turkey sandwich, and watched football alone. Christmas, I bought her gifts like I did every year. Wrapped them, put them under my tree, left them there until February when I finally accepted she wasn't coming. Her birthday came around again, 24. I baked a cake anyway, sang happy birthday to an empty kitchen, cried until I couldn't breathe. That's when I knew I had to let go. Not forget, I could never forget, but let go of hoping, let go of waiting for my phone to ring. I boxed up her pictures from around the house, not to get rid of them, just to stop seeing them everywhere. Put them in the closet where they couldn't hurt me every time I walked past. I learned to live with the empty space where my daughter used to be. People ask me sometimes, do you have children? I started saying, yes, I have a daughter, and leaving it at that. No details, no stories. Just acknowledgement that she existed somewhere, even if not with me. That's how I survived, by making my world smaller and smaller until there was no room for the pain to breathe. 5 years passed like that. 5 whole years. I turned 66. My hair was almost completely gray now. I'd given up on dating. What was I going to tell a man? Oh, by the way, my daughter hates me because her stepmother convinced her I'm a cheating liar. I'd accepted my life. This was it. Me and my job and my small, quiet existence. I'd accepted that I'd lost my daughter forever. And then my phone rang one Tuesday morning and everything changed again. I know this is heavy. I know some of y'all might be going through something similar right now. Dealing with family who won't speak to you, carrying pain nobody sees. If this is hitting home for you, leave a comment. Let me know I'm not alone in this. And make sure you're subscribed, because what happens next, when the truth finally comes out, you won't believe it. It was Daryl. I almost didn't answer. We hadn't spoken since that phone call 6 years ago. What could he possibly want? Carol. His voice sounded strange. Strained. I need you to come to the hospital. My blood went cold. What happened? Is it Jasmine? It's Diane. I felt something twist in my chest. Not quite sympathy, but not quite satisfaction either. What happened to Diane? Car accident. It's bad, Carol. Real bad. She's been asking for people. Family. She wants to. His voice broke. She wants to clear her conscience before she dies. He didn't say it, but I heard it. Why are you calling me? Because she asked for you too. She said, he took a shaky breath. She said she has something to tell you. About Jasmine. My heart started pounding. What about Jasmine? Just come. Please. Emory University Hospital, ICU. Carol, just please come. He hung up. I stood there holding my phone, my hand shaking. This woman who'd destroyed my relationship with my daughter. This woman who'd fed her lies and turned her against me. She was dying, and she wanted to see me. Part of me wanted to stay home, wanted to let her die, with whatever guilt she was carrying. She deserved it. But another part, the part that was still a mother, still hoping against hope, that part needed to know what she had to say about my daughter. I got dressed, put on my good black slacks and a nice blouse, did my makeup, even though my hands were shaking so bad, I almost poked myself in the eye with the mascara wand. I looked at myself in the mirror, 66 years old, gray hair pulled back, lines around my eyes and mouth that hadn't been there 7 years ago. I looked like a woman who'd survived something, because I had. The drive to the hospital took 30 minutes. I gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. My mind was racing. What could she possibly have to tell me? What could be important enough to ask for me on her deathbed? I found parking, walked through those automatic doors, took the elevator to the ICU on the 4th floor. Daryl was in the waiting room. He looked terrible. Gray skin, bloodshot eyes, wrinkled clothes like he'd been there all night. When he saw me, he stood up. Carol. Daryl. We stared at each other. I hadn't seen him in years. He looked old and tired and broken. Where is she? Room 407. It's not good, Carol. The doctors say maybe a few more hours. A day at most. I nodded, felt nothing. And Jasmine, she's in there now. She doesn't know I called you. My stomach dropped. Daryl. She needs to hear what Diane has to say. You both do. He ran his hand over his face. God, Carol, I'm so sorry. I'm so goddamn sorry. For what? He just shook his head, tears in his eyes. A nurse came out of room 407. She's asking for Carol Montgomery? That's me, I said. You can go in, but she's very weak. Keep it brief. I walked down that hallway on legs that barely worked, stopped outside room 407. Through the window, I could see Jasmine sitting beside the bed. My daughter, my baby girl, who I hadn't seen in 7 years except for that one moment in the grocery store. She'd cut her hair. It was natural now, pulled back in a puff. She looked tired, older, beautiful. God, she was still so beautiful. I pushed open the door. Jasmine looked up, and the expression on her face, shock, anger, confusion, all mixed together, nearly knocked me over. What are you doing here? Her voice was sharp. I asked for her. The voice came from the bed. Diane. I made myself look at her. She was barely recognizable. Face swollen and bruised. Tubes everywhere. The machines beeping and hissing. Her breathing labored. Hi, Diane, I said quietly. Carol. She tried to smile, but it came out like a grimace. Thank you for coming. Diane, why is she here? Jasmine stood up. I don't want her here. Sit down, Jasmine. Diane's voice was weak but firm. Please, there's something I need to say, something I need to tell you both. Jasmine looked between us, and I saw fear in her eyes now. Fear, because she was starting to realize something bad was coming, something that was going to hurt. She sat down slowly. I stayed by the door, my purse clutched in front of me like a shield. Diane took a rattling breath. Jasmine, baby, I need you to listen to me. I need you to hear what I'm about to say. Diane, you need to rest. No, I don't have time to rest. Tears started running down her bruised face. I did something terrible. Something I can't take back. Something I need to make right before I... She couldn't finish. Started coughing, and Jasmine grabbed her hand. It's okay, Diane. Whatever it is, it's okay. No, baby, it's not okay. Diane's eyes found mine across the room. Carol, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did to you. The room went very still. What are you talking about? Jasmine's voice was small now, scared. The pictures I showed you. The things I told you about your mother. About why your father left. Diane took a gasping breath. It was all lies, baby. All of it. I heard Jasmine make a sound. A small, wounded sound. What? I lied to you. I made it all up. I manipulated those pictures. Old photos of your mother with a male friend. Nothing inappropriate, but I cropped them and doctored them to look like something they weren't. I fed you lies for months. Little things at first, then bigger. I poisoned you against your mother because... She sobbed. Because I was jealous. Because every time you talked about her, I could see how much you loved her. More than you'd ever love me. And I couldn't stand it. Jasmine stood up so fast her chair fell over. No. She was shaking her head. No, that's not. You showed me proof. You showed me fake proof, baby. I'm so sorry. I fabricated everything. Your mother never cheated. Your father left because he got me pregnant while he was still married to her. That's the truth. That's the real truth. Why? Jasmine's voice broke. Why would you do that? Because I wanted to be your mother. Because I wanted you to need me. Because I was insecure and stupid and cruel. Diane looked at me again. Carol, I took 7 years from you. 7 years with your daughter because I was too selfish and jealous to let you have what was yours. There's no apology big enough. There's nothing I can say except I'm sorry, and I'm asking you to please, please don't let my lies keep destroying your family. Tell her. Tell Jasmine the truth. Everyone looked at me. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out at first. My throat was too tight. My eyes were too full of tears. It's true. I finally managed. Everything I told you all those years ago was true, Jasmine. Your father left because he was having an affair with Diane. She got pregnant with Daryl Jr., and he chose them. I never cheated. I never lied to you. I never did anything except love you with everything I had. Jasmine turned to look at me, really look at me, for the first time in 7 years. And then she crumpled, just folded in on herself, sank to the floor, and started sobbing. Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh, God! I moved without thinking, crossed that room, and dropped down beside my daughter and pulled her into my arms. She fought me at first, pushed against my chest, tried to pull away, but I held on like I should have held on 7 years ago, held on like I'd wanted to hold on every single day since. And finally, she stopped fighting, put her face against my shoulder, and cried like her heart was breaking, because it was. I could feel it breaking. I'm sorry, she kept saying. Mama, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Baby, I got you. Mama's got you. I lost 7 years. I lost 7 years with you because I believed, oh God, Mama, what did I do? It's not your fault. You hear me? This is not your fault. But she just kept crying, kept apologizing, kept holding on to me like she was afraid I'd disappear. Behind us, I heard Diane crying too. And Daryl, who'd come into the room at some point, was crying. Everyone was crying. The machines kept beeping. The nurses came in and told us we needed to step out, that Diane needed to rest. I stood up slowly, my knees protesting, helped Jasmine up. She wouldn't let go of my hand, just gripped it tight like she used to when she was little, and we'd cross the street. We went out into the hallway. Daryl stayed with Diane. Jasmine and I stood there, just the two of us, for the first time in 7 years. She looked at me, and her face, God, her face was wrecked, tear-streaked and swollen and full of pain. "How can you even look at me?" she whispered. "After what I did to you, after what I said. Because you're my daughter, because I love you, because nothing could ever change that. I called you a liar. I said you destroyed our family. I said she couldn't continue. I said such terrible things to you. You believed what you were told by someone you trusted. That's not your fault, baby. But I should have listened to you. Should have let you explain. Should have. Should have, would have, could have." I cupped her face in my hands the way I used to when she was little and scraped her knee. "We can't go back, Jasmine. We can only go forward. And right now, going forward means we figure this out together. If you want to, if you can forgive me for not fighting harder." "Forgive you?" She grabbed my hands. "Mama, there's nothing to forgive. You didn't do anything wrong." "I did. I'm the one who walked away. I'm the one who wouldn't listen. I'm the one who wasted 7 years believing lies when I should have known, that you would never do what you said you did. You were hurt. You were manipulated by someone who was supposed to care about you. That's not an excuse." "No," I said quietly, "but it's an explanation. And sometimes that's enough." She pulled me into another hug, and this time there was no fighting. Just my daughter, holding her mother, both of us crying in that hospital hallway while people walked past and pretended not to notice. "I missed you so much," she whispered into my shoulder. "Every single day, every birthday, every holiday, every stupid Tuesday, when I just wanted to call you and tell you about my day. I missed you so much it hurt. I missed you too, baby. You have no idea how much." We stood there for a long time, just holding each other, making up for 7 years of missed hugs. Finally, she pulled back, wiped her face with her hands. Can we go somewhere? Talk. I need to. There's so much I need to tell you. So much time to make up for." "Yes," I said. "Yes, we can go anywhere you want. The coffee shop? The one by your house. The one we used to go to. It's still there. Good." She took my hand again. "Let's go there. Let's start over. Or not start over. We can't start over. But start again. Start from here." I squeezed her hand. "Okay, baby, let's start from here." The coffee shop looked exactly the same. Same brown leather booths. Same jazz playing softly in the background. Same smell of espresso and pastries. But we were different. 7 years different. We sat in our old booth, the one in the back corner where we used to sit every Sunday after church. Jasmine ordered a caramel latte. I got my usual black coffee. For a few minutes, we just sat there, holding our warm cups, looking at each other like we were both trying to prove this was real. "Your hair is gray," Jasmine said softly. "Stopped dyeing it a few years ago. Didn't see the point anymore." Her face crumpled. "Because of me." "No, because I was tired of pretending things were fine when they weren't. The gray hair was honest." I reached across the table and took her hand. "Don't do that, baby. Don't take on guilt for everything. Some things just are. Tell me what happened. After I left, tell me everything." So I did. Told her about the silent house, the empty table, the way I'd pack up her plate every night out of habit. Told her about seeing her in the grocery store, about the holidays alone, about boxing up her pictures because I couldn't stand looking at them. She cried while I talked, quiet tears that dripped into her coffee. "I thought I was doing the right thing," she said when I finished. "I thought I was protecting myself from someone toxic, someone who'd lied to me my whole life. And instead, you were protecting yourself from lies. That's all you knew to do. But I should have given you a chance to explain. Maybe." I took a sip of coffee. It was lukewarm now, but I didn't care. But Diane was smart about it. She didn't come to you with one big lie. She started small, right? Little comments here and there. Jasmine nodded slowly. Yeah, she'd say things like, "Your mother seems really defensive," or, "I wonder why your mother doesn't like your father spending time with you." Little things that made me start questioning. That's how manipulation works. Little seeds that grow into big doubts. By the time she showed you those fake pictures, she'd already prepared your mind to believe them. I'm not stupid, though. I should have. You're not stupid. You're human. And humans believe people they trust. That's not a weakness, baby. That's normal. She shook her head. I don't know how you can sit here and be so understanding, so forgiving, after everything I said to you, everything I did. You want me to be angry? Yes. I want you to yell at me. I want you to tell me what a terrible daughter I was. I want, her voice broke. I want you to give me what I deserve. I leaned forward. What you deserve is your mother's love. That's what you've always deserved, and that's what you're always going to get from me. I'm not going to punish you for being human, for making a mistake, for being lied to by someone who should have protected you instead of poisoning you. But the things I said to you were said by a girl who thought her whole life was a lie. That girl was hurting. She's not here anymore, is she? Here now is my daughter, who knows the truth. That's who I'm talking to. Jasmine wiped her face with a napkin, took a shaky breath. Tell me about your life. These last 7 years. I want to know everything. So I told her about work, about church, about my friends who stood by me even when they didn't fully understand, about the quiet life I built, small but mine. Dr. Morrison retired last year. I said, his daughter took over the practice. She's nice. Keeps asking when I'm going to retire. Are you going to retire? I don't know. What would I do with all that time? Spend it with me? Her voice was so hopeful it hurt. I'd like that, baby. I'd like that a lot. We talked for 2 hours. She told me about her job. She'd gotten promoted to senior marketing manager, about her apartment in Midtown, about the men she'd dated, none of them serious, about her friends, her life, all the things I'd missed. I almost called you so many times, she admitted, especially at night. I'd be lying in bed, and I'd reach for my phone, and then I'd remember, and the anger would come back, the hurt, and I'd convince myself I was doing the right thing by staying away. Did Daryl and Diane encourage that? You staying away? Her jaw tightened. Diane did. She'd say things like, I know it's hard, but sometimes distance is healthy. And Dad, she shook her head. Dad just went along with whatever Diane said. He always did. Did he know that she was lying? I don't know. I need to ask him. I need to. She stopped, her face paling. Oh, God. Daryl Jr., my brother. He's going to lose his mother. And it's because she was too busy destroying my relationship with mine to watch where she was driving. You don't know that. The police said she was texting. Ran a red light. Jasmine's voice was bitter, probably texting someone else to poison against their own mother. Jasmine, I know that's harsh. She's dying, and I shouldn't speak ill of her, but Mama, she looked at me with such pain. I can't forgive her. I know you can forgive me, but I can't forgive her for what she took from us. 7 years. 7 years I could have spent with you. 7 Christmases, 7 birthdays, 7 years of Sunday phone calls and coffee dates, and just being with you. She stole that from us, and she's not going to live long enough for me to even tell her how much I hate her for it. I understood that anger, felt it myself, simmering under all the grief. She's dying with that guilt. I said quietly, that's her punishment, living these last hours knowing what she did, and who she hurt. That's not nothing, baby. It's not enough. No, I agreed. It's not, but it's what we have. We sat in silence for a moment, both of us wrestling with our own anger and grief. What now? Jasmine finally asked. Where do we go from here? Forward. Together. One day at a time. Can I come see you? Tomorrow. You can come see me anytime you want. Today, tomorrow, every day if you want. I want to make dinner. At your house. Like we used to. My eyes filled with tears. I'd love that, baby. And I want to meet your friends. Reintroduce myself. Show them I'm not the terrible daughter who abandoned her mother. They never thought that. I bet some of them did. I would have. Well, then we'll show them together. That we're okay. That we're going to be okay. She reached across the table and took both my hands. I love you, Mama. I never stopped. Even when I was angry, even when I thought you'd betrayed me, I never stopped loving you. It just hurt too much to be around you, loving you and thinking you'd lied to me my whole life. I know, baby. I know. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making this up to you. You don't have to make anything up to me. You just have to be here. That's all I've ever wanted. We stayed at that coffee shop until they started putting chairs up on tables. Talked about everything and nothing. 7 years of catching up, and it still wasn't enough. When we finally left, Jasmine walked me to my car. I'll call you tomorrow, she said. Early. We can plan dinner. I'll be waiting. She hugged me again, tight and long. Thank you for not giving up on me. Never, baby. I could never give up on you. I watched her walk to her car, watched her drive away. But this time was different. This time, I knew she was coming back. Y'all, I need you to understand something. This right here, this moment of reunion, it felt like breathing after drowning for 7 years. But the story doesn't end here, because there was still one more conversation that needed to happen. One more truth that needed to come out. Stay with me. Make sure you're subscribed, because what happens next with Daryl, you need to hear this. Diane died that night. Jasmine called me at 3 a.m, crying. I got dressed and drove straight to the hospital. Daryl was in the waiting room, broken. His son, Daryl Jr., who I'd never met, was there too, 18 years old, tall and lanky, crying into his hands. Jasmine was sitting apart from them, staring at the wall. I sat down next to her, took her hand. She leaned her head on my shoulder. It's over, she whispered. She's gone. I'm sorry, baby. Are you? Really? I thought about it. Was I sorry Diane was dead? I'm sorry for Daryl Jr. I said honestly. I'm sorry for your father, even though he doesn't deserve my sympathy. I'm sorry for the waste of it all, that she spent her last years being cruel instead of being happy. But am I sorry she can't hurt us anymore? No, I'm not sorry about that. Jasmine nodded. That's fair. Daryl looked up and saw us. He stood slowly like an old man and walked over. Jasmine, he said, can we talk? All 3 of us. I don't know if I want to hear anything you have to say right now, Dad. Please, there's something I need to tell you. Something Diane made me promise never to tell, but now that she's gone, his voice cracked. Please, you deserve to know everything. We found an empty consultation room, sat down around a small table. Daryl looked between us, his eyes red and swollen. I knew, he said simply, about the lies, about what Diane told you, Jasmine. I knew it wasn't true. Jasmine went very still. What? I knew your mother never cheated. I knew everything Diane told you was a lie, and I let her do it anyway. Why? Jasmine's voice was deadly quiet. Why would you do that? Because Diane wanted it. Because she was obsessed with being your real mother, and this was the only way she knew how. Because I was too much of a coward to stand up to her. He looked at me, and I saw shame in his eyes. Real, deep shame. Carol, I'm sorry. I'm so goddamn sorry. I should have told Jasmine the truth from the beginning. Should have shut Diane down the first time she started talking about you. But you didn't, I said flatly. No, I didn't. And I watched my daughter cut off her mother over lies I could have stopped with one conversation. I watched you suffer, watched Jasmine suffer. Did nothing, I repeated, felt anger rising in my chest, hot and sharp. You did worse than nothing, Daryl. You confirmed her lies. You backed up Diane's story. You made Jasmine think I was the villain. I know. Do you really know what you did? You didn't just stay silent. You actively participated in destroying my relationship with my daughter. Carol. No. I stood up. You don't get to apologize now and make this okay. You don't get to clear your conscience because your wife died guilty. You're guilty too. More guilty, maybe because you're her father. You were supposed to protect her, and instead you helped feed her lies about her mother. You're right. He was crying now. You're absolutely right. Jasmine was staring at him like she'd never seen him before. I don't know you, she said quietly. I thought I did. Thought you were this good man who'd been wronged. Thought you were trying your best to be in my life despite a difficult situation. But you're not. You're just, she shook her head. You're just a coward who let your wife destroy your daughter's life because you didn't have the spine to tell the truth. Jasmine, don't. She held up her hand. Don't say my name. Don't apologize. Don't do anything except hear me when I tell you this. I don't forgive you. Diane was sick with jealousy and insecurity. That's tragic, but at least I understand it. But you had no excuse. You knew the truth, and you chose to let your daughter suffer rather than stand up to your wife. That's unforgivable. Please, baby girl. I'm not your baby girl. I'm Carol's baby girl. I'm the daughter of a woman who loved me enough to let me go when I asked, even though it broke her, who waited for 7 years without bitterness, without anger, just loving me from a distance. That's my mother. You. She stood up. You're just the man who donated DNA. She walked out. I stood to follow her, but Daryl grabbed my arm. Carol, please. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I'll do anything to make this right. I looked at his hand on my arm, then at his face. You had 7 years to make it right, Daryl. 7 years to tell the truth. You chose Diane over your daughter every single time. You don't get to be sorry now just because it's convenient. I loved her. Diane. I loved her, and I couldn't stand up to her. That's not love. That's weakness. I pulled my arm free, and your daughter deserves better than weak men who can't tell the truth. I left him there and went to find Jasmine. She was in the parking lot, leaning against my car, crying. I'm so angry, she said when she saw me. I'm so angry I could scream. Then scream. What? Scream. We're in a parking lot at 3 a.m. Nobody's going to care. She looked at me, and for a second, I saw the little girl she used to be, the one who'd come to me with every hurt, every frustration, trusting I'd know how to fix it. And then she screamed, let out all that rage and pain and grief into the night air. And when she was done, she looked at me and said, that actually helped. I know. Did it myself a few times over the years. In parking lots. Mostly in my car on the way home from work. The other drivers probably thought I was crazy. She laughed, and it was watery and broken, but it was a laugh. Take me home, Mama, to your house. I don't want to be alone tonight. Okay, baby, let's go home. That was 6 months ago. 6 months since Diane died, and the truth came out. 6 months since I got my daughter back. People think reconciliation is this beautiful, instant thing, like in the movies where people hug and cry and everything's magically fixed. It's not like that. Not in real life. The first few weeks were good. Jasmine came over almost every day. We cooked together, watched our shows, did all the things we used to do. It was like trying to slip back into a comfortable old coat. But some things didn't fit the same anymore. She'd say something, and I'd tense up, waiting for her to turn cold again. She'd see me tense up, and she'd apologize for something she hadn't even done. We were both walking on eggshells, trying so hard to make it work that we weren't really being ourselves. One night, about a month in, it all came to a head. We were making dinner, spaghetti and meatballs, simple stuff. I asked her to hand me the garlic powder from the cabinet. The one over the stove, she asked. No, baby, the one by the refrigerator. That's where I've always kept the spices. Since when? They used to be over the stove. That was 7 years ago. I reorganized. She froze. The number just hung there between us. 7 years. I didn't know, she said quietly. I don't know where anything is in your kitchen anymore. I don't know your routine or your schedule or what shows you watch now or... Her voice cracked. I don't know you anymore. Mama. I turned off the stove. Come here. We sat down at the kitchen table, the same table where everything had fallen apart, the same table where we were trying to put it back together. You're right, I said. You don't know me the same way you used to, and I don't know you the same way either. We're different people than we were 7 years ago. I hate that. I know, but maybe that's okay. Maybe we get to learn each other again. Get to know the people we've become. What if you don't like who I've become? Jasmine, look at me. I took her hands. I love you. Not who you used to be. Not who I remember. You, the woman sitting here in my kitchen. The one who came back even though it was hard. The one who's trying. That's who I love. She started crying. I'm so scared. I'm going to mess this up again. You can't mess this up. Even when we fight, and we will fight, because that's what family does. You can't mess this up. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. We're stuck with each other. Promise. Promise. After that, things got easier. We stopped trying so hard to be perfect and just started being real. She told me one day that she was in therapy, working through everything that had happened. I told her I was proud of her. You should come with me sometime, she said, to a session. My therapist said it might help. Family counseling. I didn't want to. The idea of sitting in some office, talking about all this pain with a stranger, made my skin crawl. But I went anyway, because she asked, because she needed it. And it did help. Helped us say things we'd been avoiding. Helped us understand that healing takes time and work and honesty. Jasmine cut Daryl off completely. He tried to reach out, calls, texts, even showed up at her apartment once. She told him to leave and threatened to call the police if he didn't. I might forgive him someday, she told me. Might, but not now. Maybe not ever. Right now, I need to focus on the family that actually chose to love me, not the one that chose lies. Daryl Jr. reached out to her once, asked if they could meet for coffee, talk about their mother. She went, came back sad and quiet. He's a good kid, she said. It's not his fault his mother was awful. We're going to try to have some kind of relationship. Brothers and sisters shouldn't suffer because of their parents' mistakes. I was proud of her for that, for being bigger than the hurt. She started coming to church with me. Mother Jenkins nearly fainted when she saw Jasmine walk in beside me that first Sunday. Oh, praise him, she shouted right there in the sanctuary. Praise him, Carol's baby came home. The whole church knew our story by then. Some of them had prayed for us for 7 years. When they saw us together, sitting in our old pew, there wasn't a dry eye in the place. After service, Sister Patricia pulled me aside. I never doubted you, she said. Not for a second. I hugged her. Thank you for believing in me. Always, honey. Always. Things weren't perfect. We had hard days. Days when Jasmine would say something about before, and we'd both get quiet, remembering. Days when I'd look at her and think about all the time we'd lost. But we had good days too. More good days than bad. She helped me repaint my living room. We went shopping together. She taught me how to use Instagram so I could see her pictures. You're really bad at this, she said, laughing at my attempts to take a selfie. I'm old. I'm allowed to be bad at things. You're not old. You're classic. That's just a fancy word for old. Baby, for my 67th birthday, she threw me a party, invited all my friends from church, from work, from the neighborhood, cooked all my favorite foods. When everyone was there, she stood up and clinked her glass. I want to say something, she announced, about my mama. The room went quiet. 7 years ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I walked away from the best person I've ever known because I believed lies someone told me, lies about her character, her love, her truth. She looked at me, tears in her eyes. But even though I walked away, even though I said terrible things and refused to listen, she never stopped loving me, never stopped being my mama. She waited for me. 7 years, she waited. And when the truth finally came out, she didn't punish me, didn't hold it against me. She just opened her arms and let me come home. She raised her glass. So this toast isn't just for her birthday. It's for the strongest woman I know, the one who taught me what real love looks like, the one who showed me that forgiveness isn't just words, it's action. Mama, I love you. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you know it. To Carol, everyone shouted. I couldn't even speak, just stood up and hugged my daughter while everyone clapped and cheered. That night, after everyone left, and we were cleaning up, Jasmine said, I got you something else, a real present. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a piece of paper, a legal document. What is this? It's a statement. For the court, I'm changing my last name back to Montgomery, dropping my father's name completely. She watched my face. I hope that's okay. I should have asked first, but I wanted it to be a surprise. It's more than okay. I pulled her into a hug. It's perfect. We're a team again, she said into my shoulder. Carol and Jasmine Montgomery, like it was always supposed to be. Like it was always supposed to be. I agreed. It's been 6 months now. 6 months of rebuilding what was broken. 6 months of learning how to be mother and daughter again. Some people ask me if I'm angry about the time we lost, about those 7 years. I am. Of course I am. I'm angry at Diane for being cruel, angry at Daryl for being weak, angry at the universe for letting it happen in the first place. But I'm also grateful that the truth came out before it was too late, grateful that my daughter came back, grateful for every single day I get to spend with her now. Because here's what I learned. You can be angry and grateful at the same time. You can grieve what was lost and celebrate what was found. Life isn't one thing or the other. It's messy and complicated and full of contradictions. And that's okay. Last Sunday, Jasmine and I were sitting on my porch, drinking sweet tea, and watching the sun go down. We do that now, most Sunday evenings. Just sit and talk and be together. Mama, she said, can I ask you something? Anything, baby. How did you do it? How did you survive those 7 years without me, without falling apart completely? I thought about it, really thought about it. I did not fall apart. I said, honestly, I fell apart plenty, cried myself to sleep more nights than I can count, had days where I didn't want to get out of bed, days where the pain was so big I didn't know how to hold it. So how did you keep going? Because I had to. Because even though you weren't with me, you were still my daughter. And mothers don't give up. We don't get to give up. I looked at her. And somewhere deep down, I think I knew that one day the truth would come out. That one day you'd come back to me. So I had to keep going. Had to keep living. So that when you came back, I'd still be here. She took my hand. I'm so sorry you had to wait. Don't be sorry. Just be here. That's all I need. For you to be here. I'm not going anywhere, Mama. Never again. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the fireflies come out, listening to the neighborhood sounds, kids playing, someone's music from down the street, the distant sound of traffic. This is my life now. This quiet, simple, beautiful life with my daughter back where she belongs. It's not the life I thought I'd have 7 years ago. It's been marked by pain and loss and betrayal, but it's also been marked by resilience and truth and love that wouldn't quit. And you know what? I'll take it. I'll take every moment I get with my daughter. Every Sunday evening on the porch. Every dinner in my kitchen. Every phone call. Every text. Every ordinary moment that I once took for granted and will never take for granted again. Because I lost her once. I know what that feels like. And now that I have her back, I'm never letting go. So that's my story. That's how I lost my daughter for 7 years and got her back. People ask me sometimes if I forgive Diane. The truth is, I don't know. She's dead, so my forgiveness doesn't change anything for her. But for me, I'm working on it. Not for her sake, but for mine. Because holding on to hatred is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. As for Daryl, I don't talk to him. Jasmine doesn't either. Maybe that'll change someday. Maybe not. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. And that's okay too. What I know for sure is this. Truth always comes out. Maybe not right away. Maybe not when you need it most. But eventually, truth rises to the surface like oil on water. And when it does, it changes everything. If you're going through something similar, if you've lost someone to lies, if you're waiting for truth to be revealed, if you're holding on to hope even when it hurts, don't give up. Keep living. Keep loving. Keep being who you are, because eventually people see the truth. It took 7 years for my daughter to see it. 7 long, painful years. But she saw it, and she came home. And now, every single day with her is a gift I don't take for granted. Remember, family isn't just blood. It's the people who show up, the people who stay, the people who tell the truth even when it's hard, and who believe you when everyone else doubts. My daughter and I, we're rebuilding, one day at a time, one meal at a time, one Sunday evening on the porch at a time. And you know what? We're going to be just fine. Better than fine. We're going to be exactly what we always should have been, mother and daughter, together, telling the truth and loving each other through whatever comes next. That's my truth. That's my story. And I'm so grateful I get to tell it with a happy ending. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you, if it reminded you of your own family struggles, or if you just needed to hear about truth winning in the end, leave a comment below. Subscribe to hear more stories like this. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you never know what battles people are fighting in silence. Be kind. Tell the truth. And hold on to the people you love, because you never know when someone might try to take them away. Until next time, this is Carol Jean Montgomery, reminding you that a mother's love, that never dies, never gives up, and always finds its way home.